Christ and Conduct by James Allen. Chapter 1. The Gate and the Way. Strait is the gate, and narrow is the way, which leadeth unto life. A few there be that find it. Jesus, a good man, armed the good treasure of the heart, brings forth good things. Jesus' supreme aim of all religious is to teach men how to live. And the learning and the living are religion itself. The purification of the human heart, the building up of a blameless life, and the perfecting of the soul. These are the great underlying and the enduring factors in all religious and creeds the world over. That which is vital in every religion is the striving after and the practice of goodness. All things else are Christians. Superfluities, illusions, goodness, and by goodness I mean sinlessness, is a beautiful, an imperishable form of religion. But creeds and religions are the perishable garments woven of the threads of opinion in which men clothe it. One after another, religions come and go, but religion, being life itself, endures forever. Let man cease to quarrel with garments and strive to perceive the universality and the beauty of the indwelling form. Thus will they become wedded to it, will become one with the supreme goodness. Religion is goodness. Goodness is religion. We know nothing higher than goodness. We can conceive of nothing more beautiful than goodness. Beholding the perfect goodness, man called God. Seeing that goodness practiced by man, men worship him as God. We behold Jesus as a sinless man. In him is the perfect goodness revealed, not obscurity and metaphysically, but in all his words and deeds. It is by virtue of his sinlessness that he is accepted as an exemplar, a universal teacher. The teachers of mankind are few. 1,000 years may pass by without the advent of such a one. But when the true teacher does appear, the distinguished feature by which he is known is his life. His conduct is different from that of other men, and his teaching is never derived from any man or book, but from his own life. The teacher first lives, and then teaches others how they may likewise live. The proof and witness of his teaching is in himself, his life. Out of millions of preachers, one only is ultimately accepted by mankind, and the true teacher. And the one who is thus accepted and exalted is he who lives. All the others are mere disquisitionaries and commentators, that as such is rapidly passed out of a human king. Jesus, the teacher, lived in all its perfection, and in the face of the most and worst conditions, the divine life of love. He pursued the true life of goodwill, as distinguished from the false life of self-seeking, which is the majority elect to follow. In him, there was no element of selfishness. All his thoughts, words, and acts being propagated by the spirit of love. To this spirit of love, he so entirely subjected his personality that he became one with it, so much so that he literally became divine love personified. His complete victory over the personality was accomplished by obedience to the divine law of love within himself, by virtue of which he became divine, and his whole teaching is to the effect that all who practice the same obedience will realize the same divine life, will become consciously divine. The unalterable meekness, undying compassion, sweet forgiveness, and unending love and the patience of Jesus are the things of 1,000 hands, the subject of millions of heartfelt prayers, and this is so because these qualities are recognized everywhere and by all men as being distinctively divine. To make the practice of these qualities the chief object of life constitutes religion. To deny them and to continue to live in their selfish opposites, pride, condemnation, harshness, hatred, and anger, constitutes irreligion. Man everywhere, in the inmost heart, though they may deny it argumentatively, know that goodness is divine, and Jesus is worshipped as God not for any claim made, nor because of any miraculous circumstances connected with his life, but because he never departed from the perfect goodness, the faultless love. God is love. Love is God. Man knows no God except love manifesting the human heart and life in the form of stainless thoughts, blameless words, and deeds of gentle pity and forgiveness. And he can only know this God in the measure that he has realized love in his own heart by self-subjugation. The God which forms the subject of theological argument, of whose existence or non-existence men are so eager to prove, is the God of hypocrisies and speculation. He who by overcoming self has found dwelling within him the supreme love. Know what that love is far beyond the reach of all selfish argument, and can only believe his living vain argument to those who will not come up higher. Having by obedience entered into full possession of the divine life, Jesus gave to the world certain spiritual rules, by the observance of which all men could become sons of God, could live the perfect life. These rules or precepts are so simple, direct, and unmistakable that it is impossible to misunderstand them. So plain and unequivocal that so plain and unequivocal are they that even an unlettered child so plain and unequivocal are they that even an unlettered child could grasp their meaning without difficulty. All of them are directly related to human conduct and can be applied only by the individual in his own life. To carry out the spirit of these rules in one's daily conduct constitutes the whole duty of life, and lifts the individual into the full consciousness of his divine origin and nature, of his oneness with God, the supreme good. It's here, however, where the difficulty arises. For all of those, there are millions of men and women worshipping Jesus as God in the miraculous or metaphysical sense. There really were few who believe in his precepts, and who attempt to carry them out in their lives. In the precepts themselves, there can be no difficulty or misunderstanding. All this lies in the unbelief of those who read the precepts. Men do not carry out the precepts of Jesus because they do not believe it possible to do so, and they should never try. While there are others who believe it possible and necessary to carry them out, are not willing to make the personal sacrifices which those precepts demand. Yet apart from the earnest striving to live out the teaching of Jesus, there can be no true life. To merely call Jesus Lord does not constitute discipleship, but to weave his words into the fabric of one's life, to put into execution his divine and self-perfecting precepts, this and this only constitutes discipleship. Let it be understood, thus, really, that with the almost innumerable creeds which has been built upon the Hebrew Scriptures, I have absolutely nothing to do. I have to do entirely with the life and teaching of Jesus, of the vital realities in the human heart to which that teaching is directed. I have to do with goodness, not with speculation, with love, not with theological theories, with the self-perfection, not with the fleeting opinions. Jesus was a supreme good man. This all men knew, and to know this is unembarrassing and all-sufficient. He has left the precepts which, if a man will guide his conduct by them, will lead them unerringly to the supreme goodness. To know this is gladdening and glorious. A good man is the flower of humanity, and to daily grow purer, nobler, more godlike by overcoming some selfish tendency is to be continually drawing nearer to the divine heart. He that would be my disciple, let him deny himself daily, is a statement which none can misunderstand or misapply. Howsoever he may ignore it, nowhere in the universe is there any substitute for goodness, and until a man has this, he has nothing worthy or enduring. To the possession of goodness there is only one way, and that is to give up all and everything that is opposed to goodness. Every selfish desire must be eradicated, every impure thought must be yielded up, every claim to opinion must be sacrificed, and it is in the doing of this that it constitutes the following of Christ. That which is above all creeds, beliefs, and opinions is a loving and a self-sacrificing heart. The life of Jesus is demonstration of this truth, and all his teaching is designed to bring about this holy and the supreme consummation. To dwell in love always, and towards all, is to lead the true life, is to have life itself. Jesus so lead, and all men may so lead, if they will humbly and faithfully carry out his precepts. So long as they refuse to do this, cling to their desires, passions, and opinions, they can't be reckoned as disciples. They are the disciples of self. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is the servant of sin. It is the searching declaration of Jesus. Let men cease to delude themselves with the belief that they can retain their bad tempers, their lusts, their harsh words and judgments, their personal hatred, their petty contentions and darling opinions, and yet have Christ. Oh, then divides man from man. A man from goodness is not of Christ, for Christ is love. To continue to commit sin is to be a doer of sin, a follower of self, and not a doer of righteousness and a follower of Christ. Sin and Christ cannot dwell together, and who accepts Christ's life of pure goodness ceases from sin. To follow Christ means to give up all in our minds and conduct that agonize the spirit of love, and this we shall find as we proceed necessitates complete self-surrender, refusing to harbor any thought that is not pure, compassionate, and gentle. The Christ spirit of love puts end not only to all sin, but to all division and contention. If I contend for the opinion, say, about the divinity of Jesus Christ against the opinion of another as to his non-divinity, and at once create division and strife and depart from the Christ, the Spirit of love. When Christ is disputed about, Christ is lost. It is no less selfish or sinful to cling to opinion than to cling to impure desire. Knowing this, the good man gives up himself unreservedly to the Spirit of love and dwells in love towards all, contending with none, condemning none, hating none, but loving all, seeing behind their opinions, their creeds, and their sins into their striving, suffering, and the sorrowing hearts. He that loves his life shall lose it. Eternal life belongs to him who will obediently relinquish his petty, narrowing, sin-loving, strife-producing personal self, for only by so doing can he enter into the large, beautiful, free, and glorious life of abounding love. Herein is the path of life. For the straight gate is the gate of goodness, and the narrow way is the willful renunciation, or self-sacrifice. So straight is the gate that no sin